fourth victim recovered after Kedah districts declared level 1 disaster areas. UMNO V touted as next premier with simple majority claim. Hello and good evening. You're watching News at 10 with me, Mohammed Amin Carlos. Well, the Kedah government has declared Yan and Kuala Muda districts as level 1 disaster areas based on the National Security Council, the MKN Directive number 20. In this regard, Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Madnor said all government agencies and statutory bodies related to disaster operations management were now taking various necessary measures to ensure that the disaster could be dealt with effectively. Well, Muhammad Sanusi, in a statement released, said the private sector as well as voluntary bodies who want to help will be given adequate training under the coordination of the MKN. Now, MKN Directive number 20 refers to more comprehensive policy and mechanism on disaster management covering the stages before, during, and after a disaster. The district-level authority is capable of controlling such incidents through district-level agencies without or with limited assistance from outside. The Menteri Besar added the state government would do its best and do whatever was necessary to restore the lives of the people affected by the floods, which are believed to have occurred due to the upstream rush of water in the area around Gunung Jerai yesterday. Well, the body of the fourth victim of the floods and landslides that were caused by the upstream rush of water phenomenon in the Gunung Jerai area was found at the Kedah Regional Development Authority, or Kedah, Sungai Udang, at 3:10 p.m. today. Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department JBPM Deputy Director General for Operations, Dato' Abdul Wahab Mat Yassin, said the body of Muhammad Faisal Muhammad Zohair, 28, who went missing in Titi Hayun, was found after the search area was widened. Dato' Abdul Wahab said 2 other victims are still missing, namely in the Titi Hayun area and Batu Hampar, and there is a possibility that the victims are trapped or buried under the flood debris. Therefore, it requires a thorough search and with the help of the K9 unit. He also said that JBPM also used 2 drones to conduct aerial surveillance of the search operation, which he hoped could help speed up the process of locating the other 2 missing victims. Well, he said the operation also involved fire and rescue personnel from Pulau Pinang, Perak and Perlis. And as of 4:30 p.m. today, 4 victims were found dead, 1 injured and 2 still missing in the incident that occurred at about 5 p.m. yesterday. And apart from Muhammad Faisal, the other victims who were killed in the incident were Zahir Murad, 65, who was found at 12:45 a.m. last night, and Ahmad Din, 64, whose body was recovered at about 6:30 p.m. yesterday. Another victim was the Jerai Hill Resort employee, Sharuzi Muhammad, 53, who was found dead in a landslide area at 11 p.m. yesterday. Abdul Wahab said the injured victim, known as Abdullah Murad, 64, who is also Zahir Noor's brother, was found yesterday evening. Istana Negara in Kuala Lumpur continues to be the center of attention as 114 MPs from Barisan Nasional, BN, Bersatu and PAS were among those had an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Ri'ayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah in 5 sessions between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. today. Now, a vehicle carrying members of Parliament or MPs was seen entering the palace gate at about 10 a.m., followed by 10 other vehicles. There were a total of 17 lawmakers from Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS were the first group to meet with the King virtually at around 10 a.m. At 11:30 a.m., a vehicle carrying Perkembangan MP Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak was seen leaving the palace premises, followed by vehicles of other MPs, including Tan Sri Anwar Musa and several UMNO MPs. And as for Borough MP Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, he was believed to have arrived at Istana Negara at 1:16 p.m. Well, previously, all MPs were instructed to submit their statutory declarations to nominate their Prime Minister candidate to Istana Negara by 4 p.m. yesterday. The notice issued by Dewan Rakyat Speaker Dato' Azhar Azizan Harun to 220 MPs is to enable one of them who commands majority support to be appointed as Prime Minister after Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's resignation. Meanwhile, UMNO Secretary General Dato Sri Ahmad Mazlan claimed that the 114 MPs who had an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong today has thrown their support for Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob for the premiership. However, he said that there had been no discussions on forming a new government cabinet.
Pertemuan ringkas itu setiap ahli parlimen tentunya menyatakan nama dan daripada kawasan mana. Kemudian tentunya menyatakan bahawa memberi sokongan kepada Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri tanpa paksaan, dengan suka rela, dan itulah antara dialog ahli parlimen, terutama diri saya lah, dengan Seri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong.
Well, Perikatan Nasional, PN, has unanimously agreed to nominate Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob as its Prime Minister candidate to ensure continuity of the former ruling coalition's policies. Well, its chairman, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, said all 50 Perikatan members of Parliament or MPs, including 31 from Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, 18 from PAS and 1 from Sabah Star, had handed over statutory declarations naming the former Deputy Premier as their choice to Istana Negara. Now, the former Premier said he also negotiated with Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS and Parti Bersatu Sabah PBS to make the same choice. However, the support by Perikatan MPs is not without price, as Tan Sri Muhyiddin said Dato Sri Ismail Sabri must ensure that the cabinet members who will be appointed later are those with integrity, trustworthy and free from any criminal charges in court if he is appointed as the Prime Minister by His Majesty the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. He said the decision was made to ensure continuity of Perikatan policies, which have been focused on battling COVID-19 and healing the nation until the right time comes for the 15th general election to be held to return the mandate to the people. He hopes the process of appointing the new Prime Minister will proceed smoothly and be finalized soon in accordance with the requirements of the Federal Constitution. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also added that as the coalition chairman, he will continue to serve the people and get the party ready to face the general election when the time comes. Well, members of the public are reminded not to make random speculations or issue any statement that can threaten the public order and security of the country. Deputy Inspector General of Police Dato Sri Mazlan Lazim said the police will continue to ensure the nation's security is under control despite the current political situation. Explaining further, Dato Sri Mazlan said the authorities will also monitor the social media platforms to prevent any unwanted occurrences that can disrupt public harmony. He added that no demonstrations are expected to be held regarding the current political issue, as democratic process is being implemented according to the Federal Constitution.
Janganlah kita bila dah macam ni elok, kita pula yang rakyat pula yang buat benda yang contoh macam spekulasi viral itu viral ini, dan kita minta bersabarlah tentang pemilihan PM baru kan. Bersabarlah, proses sedang berjalan.
Well, fully vaccinated individuals in states that are under Phase 1 of the National Recovery Plan, or NRP, will be allowed to dine in at eateries, go camping, engage in individual and non-contact sports outdoors, as well as go to night markets starting tomorrow. Well, caretaker Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said these were among several relaxations of standard operating procedures, or SOPs, under the NRP agreed upon at the NSC meeting today. So Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the decision was made after the country reached the threshold of having 50% of its adult population fully vaccinated. For dine-in activities, Tan Sri Muhyiddin urged eatery operators to provide more dining space outside the premises for better ventilation operation, and also to ensure customers show their COVID-19 digital vaccination certificate to prove that they have completed their course of immunization. Fully vaccinated parents who wish to take their children who are below 17 years of age to dine in at eateries are also allowed to do so, provided they follow the SOP. Sports, recreation and leisure activities without physical contact and non-group activities outdoors are also permitted for states under Phase 1 of the NRP and beyond in the same district. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said that night market and weekend market operations are also permitted. The caretaker premier, however, emphasized that every ministry and agency overseeing the facilities as well as premises owners must be fully responsible for the implementation of the facilities provided to ensure that it is done in accordance with the rules and guidelines. The Perak State Legislature will resume its sitting next week as scheduled, even as COVID-19 cases nationwide soared to a new record today. Now, Perak Menteri Besar Dato' Zaharani Mohamad also disclosed today that one assemblyman has yet to be vaccinated against the deadly disease. While commenting further, Dato' Zaharani said the unvaccinated assemblyman will be kept separate from the rest of the other 58 elected representatives. The Perak Assembly is scheduled to sit for 4 days starting from 25th August. State Assembly Speaker Muhammad Zahir Abdul Khalid said last week that the sitting will be based on the bubble concept to curb the spread of COVID-19. The bubble concept will see all those involved in the sitting staying at Hotel Impiana and be ferried to the State Assembly building for the entire duration of the sitting. They are prohibited from using their own transportation or e-hailing services. Muhammad Zahir also said the RT-PRC or PCR COVID-19 test will be carried out on all those involved before the session when they check in to the hotel. Malaysia reported 22,948 new coronavirus cases today, a new daily record as the overall sum infections reaches nearly 1.49 million. The Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said only 9 of the new infections were import cases, while the rest were local transmissions. In a release statement, he said 98% of cases reported today were in Category 1 and 2, while the remaining 2%, or 457 patients, in Category 3, 4 and 5. He also said of the new infections, 17,981, or 78.4%, comprised of those who have not received any or both doses of vaccine. A total of 178 deaths reported over the past 24 hours up to noon today, and out of that figure, 35 were brought in dead. In the same 24-hour span, the Health Ministry also recorded its most recoveries from infections at 21,720. This brings the total active cases to 255,534, with 1,060 patients being monitored in the ICU and 528 requiring respiratory aid. There were 42 new clusters detected, including 23 workplace clusters, 15 community clusters, 2 detention center clusters, and 1 each relating to high-risk groups and religious activities. And on to other news now. Continuing research well into COVID-19 will help the authority to keep understanding the disease, to improve clinical care and public health measures in curbing the pandemic and returning to the norm. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said in working to return to the norm of the people's lives, research plays an important role. Now, during this time last year, the Health DG said only around 9,200 people were recorded to have been infected with COVID-19 in the country, but the number had now increased more than 100-fold to surpass the 1 million mark. Well, he said to assist the Health Ministry's efforts in managing the COVID-19 pandemic, the Institute for Clinical Research, together with local and international collaborators, had developed a digital health solution to remotely monitor the safety of the COVID-19 home quarantine patients. Well, he said the COVID-19 digital quarantine and home monitoring solution uses the Internet of Medical Things and artificial intelligence to provide doctors with real-time information on the health status of home quarantine patients, enabling the doctors to provide a fast and targeted treatment plan. He also pointed out that the use of digital health was also crucial in the fight against COVID-19, such as the use of My Sejahtera application for remote health assessment, contact tracing, and facilitating the vaccination process. Well, still to come, civil service going online by the year 2025. Stay tuned. Malaysia will be accelerating the implementation of 5G technology a year earlier in the fourth quarter of this year, ahead of the original plan next year. And according to Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, this effort will enable the technology to be enjoyed by residents living in several selected locations in highly populated areas by the year 2023. Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki said a government-owned special purpose company has been established, namely Digital Nasional Berhad or DNB, to develop and conduct the country's 5G infrastructure operations.
Kemunculan teknologi 5G atau teknologi generasi kelima berpotensi besar untuk merancangkan komunikasi mudah alih melalui inovasi di samping mewujudkan industri baru yang membawa manfaat besar kepada keseluruhan ekonomi negara.
In a related development, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki also said the government has set the target of running 80% of civil service fully online by year 2025. And he said this is in line with the My Digital framework, and the service provider, also known as end-to-end or E2E, will increase efficiency of service delivery to the people. And they said the service will be easy, fast and convenient with no time limitation.
Secara keseluruhannya, sehingga 31 Julai 2021, pencapaian perkhidmatan E2E bagi sektor awam adalah sebanyak 57.02%. Sebagai pendekatan untuk memberi nilai tambah dan memperkasakan lagi penyampaian perkhidmatan kepada pelanggan yang meningkatkan kecekapan tabik urus dalaman agensi, kerajaan telah bersetuju untuk menetapkan pertambahan 5% daripada perkhidmatan E2E semasa sebagai indeks prestasi utama ataupun KPI 2021 tier 1 kepada pejabat utama perkhidmatan awam.
Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB is offering a special incentive to encourage commercial customers to light up their buildings and surrounding areas with decorative lighting in conjunction with this year's 64th Merdeka Day. Now, the Sinaran Merdeka incentive, which has been given out since the year 2000, is offered to all customers under the commercial tariffs for B, C1 and C2 tariffs who have been in operation for at least 1 year. That's before August or 1st August 2020 for the 2-month period of August and September 2021. Now, elaborating further in a statement released, TNB said the incentive includes commercial customers such as skyscrapers, office buildings, commercial complexes, shopping complexes, hotels and petrol stations. The statement also said that the incentive rate for 20.8 cents is given for any amount of increase in electricity consumption exceeding the average usage in 3 months taken from May, June and July 2021. Now, the special incentive will be reflected in October 2021 bill denoted as Carnival Discount. The promotion begins from 1st August to 15 September this year, and customers can apply via My TNB portal or at the nearest Kedai Tenaga. Well, that concludes news at 10. In our top story, 4th victim recovered after Kedah districts declared level 1 disaster areas. Tune in for more updates at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. And as dine-in and some other activities will be allowed for vaccinated people from tomorrow, we would like to remind all Malaysians to be safe, wear face masks and observe the SOPs. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos. Goodbye for now. Thanks for watching.